And to prevent this from happening again, the Cooper County Emergency Operations Director tells me this levee needs repairs. There are many things that make this field different, including gates that are wide enough so wheelchairs can get in. And another thing is the guardrail, which isn't exactly good either. Mitchell says the recession is the major cause for the decline in small business owners. As a player, Bales pitch on mountains all across the country, and at first it was every kid's dream. And at temperatures over 100 degrees, it's not surprising that many people are staying at home. But for the most part, people feel safe riding the rides again and again. It's the field of dreams. For kids like Cody Dunn, who aren't able to play on typical grass fields, this new ballpark in South Springfield is truly amazing. It's a field designed so that any kid, no matter their physical ability, can play the sport they love.
It's beautiful, just looking at it. Just looking at it just brings back so many memories.
Dunn suffers from spina bifida, which means he has a curve in his back and is paralyzed from the waist down.
But my brain works and my heart works, and that's all you need.
In late October, Dunn got to experience the field along with several kids from the community. The Springfield Park Board and the Rotary Club of North Springfield were also there for a special dedication ceremony.
We wanted this field really bad to happen for this community and to have the only miracle field in the state of Missouri.
There are many things that make this field different, including gates that are wide enough so wheelchairs can get in. The field is also about a third of the size. The distance between home plate and the fences is about 115 feet, and the distance between bases is about 50 feet. But one of the main things is the surface. The whole field is made out of rubber, and it's made so wheelchairs can go on it easily. It's also soft enough so the ball doesn't bounce as hard and hurt the players.
There are no raised surfaces. Everything is painted into the surface. There's nothing that'll trip a child.
Stokes also says they have special balls that make sounds when they roll, so blind children can play as well.
Anyone can play on this field. There's no reason. Blind, Down syndrome, autism, anyone can play on this field. Using guidelines established by the National Miracle League Association, the organizations built the park in about a year and a half. But it took over 6 years of planning and over $300,000. Almost half of that went to the special rubber surface.
Everyone came together and said this community deserves this field.
But the biggest thing about this field is that kids in the Springfield area who couldn't usually play baseball now can. And for Dunn, that's something he can appreciate.
Playing baseball and singing are my two passions. So.
In Springfield, Adam Hammons, Ozarks News Journal. This is the bridge, built in the 1930s, and is about the only way across the North Fork of the Grindstone Creek to about a dozen homes on Rustic Road. Residents who live in the neighborhood that sits on the southeast Columbia city limits use the bridge every day and know just how bad it's getting. There are many problems with this bridge, including deteriorating sides, rusting steel, and potholes. And another thing is the guardrail, which isn't exactly good either. MoDOT lowered the weight rating of the bridge from 40 to 15 tons a couple years ago, and residents are now worried the bridge is not getting improved fast enough. Fire engines at around 25 tons have a tough time getting over.
I'd like to think that if we had a really bad fire out here, that the fire department would take their chance and go across the bridge.
And that has residents worried because a fire truck can weigh up to 25 tons. But the department has used the bridge before and says it will again if needed.
We're comfortable with the fact that as long as we proceed with caution across this bridge, we believe it'll hold the weight of the truck.
Usher has made several calls to get the bridge fixed, but there's a problem. The bridge lies right on the city and county line.
Call the city or the county to do maintenance, one refers to the other and says, well, that's the county's problem, and you call the county and no, that's the city's problem.
In Columbia, Adam Hammons, ABC 17 News. The floodwaters may be dying down, but the extent of the damage isn't fully known at this point. Governor Nixon flew in today and was able to see what local emergency workers and landowners have been dealing with this summer. Nixon is also looking ahead so we don't have a repeat of this next year.
So that we don't have a recurrence next spring under what would be normal, even normal water conditions, of losing, as we are this year, hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland.
And I was able to talk to those dealing firsthand with that loss.
We've lost approximately 500 acres of crops at $1,500, $2,000 an acre of gross revenue, so that's a major impact.
And to prevent this from happening again, the Cooper County Emergency Operations Director tells me this levee needs repairs, something they believe they'll get done.
We've been doing this for a while, and we've got this down pat.
Farmers also know what they have to do to continue to save their land, which includes spending thousands of dollars of their own money to keep the pumps running with diesel fuel. John Clay says they'd lose several times that if they didn't pump the water out. And he says they'll be pumping a lot more in the coming weeks.
We haven't won this battle yet.
In Wooldridge, Adam Hammons, ABC 17 News. This is Dallas Jones. He's a local farmer and musician who plays in Springfield. One place he often played was Borders.
It was always a great place to book gigs for people that I know would come that normally wouldn't come to see me in a bar or someplace, far, another town or something. It was always a place my family could come.
The national chain Borders filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy in mid-February. They announced over 200 stores were to be closed, including the one in Springfield. For Jones, this means he'll have to find another place to play his music.
For me as a musician, it's sad because that's just another venue that was providing a good place for people to play, that was family friendly and early and really willing to work with people to get them in there, and it's just another one that's gone.
As for the economy, some believe the closing won't have much of an impact locally or nationally.
Basically what happens is people don't spend their money at Borders, and then they save it and they spend it someplace else.
Wyrick says that the sales of books and movies online on websites such as Amazon.com could have been the reason that Borders stores such as this one and others across the nation have closed.
Amazon is very aggressive. They'll try to, underprice the competitors and no sales tax, so it's very difficult for companies to compete with them.
Wyrick said other retailers across the nation have also felt competition from Amazon, including Walmart. As for Jones, there are other places to play in Springfield, but he says there's not many quite like Borders.
The more I talk about it, the more I realize I am going to miss it quite a bit.
In Springfield, I'm Adam Hammons, Ozarks News Journal.